Okay, we talked about my first 30 days in PNC. Now let's talk about my first 90 days in PNC. Let's get started.
Okay, let's go.
Alrighty then. So we know that in the beginning of everything, it is slow. So you know that you have to go through training. You know that you need to do onboarding. You know all the things. Month number 1, it's really you getting your feet wet, coming in, taking the training, getting to know the team, shadowing, learning, just really absorbing everything like a sponge, absorbing all of the knowledge and just watching your coworkers work as you are shadowing them. You're learning the different products, the different systems. You're taking a lot of trainings, virtual trainings, and also trainings with your coworkers. By the end of this month, you maybe have taken a few calls, have answered a few calls just to get yourself warmed up on the phone. So you're just breaking out of that shyness. I know that's how it was for me. It was very scary to talk on the phone. My hands were sweating. My first call, I took the call. The person said no to me. I was really nervous, and it took me another 20 minutes to get onto the next call. And my boss called me, said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I basically told her what was going through my head. I was very nervous. This person said no to me, and I just couldn't get on the phone again. And she told me, it's just going to be practice, okay? It's just going to take practice. This is 1 out of 100 that you need to do. The important thing is this person said no. Okay, great. On to the next, and on to the next, and on to the next, and on to the next. Until you're very basically numb to rejection. You just kind of really have to be more flexible with that, but that comes with time. You just got to get your feet wet. You have to keep calling, and they're going to give you a sales process, okay? It's not just going to be one and done, because you can't just call somebody and be like, they say no and you just move on, unless they tell you like, get me off your call list. I don't want to talk to you people anymore. There's a certain circumstances that go into that. But basically, you have a process. All you have to do is follow the process, listen to your mentor, and break out of your shell. By month 2, this was month 2, okay? This is where things get interesting. Now, I was feeling a little bit more comfortable on the phone because I was calling more and more and more people. And I was on with my boss. We were doing shadowing. She was training me on the different systems. And I had to do a customer review. Basically, you call the customer, you check their policy, make sure that everything is correct. You explore discounts that you can do to help them lower their premium, to keep them happy, keep them in your book of business. And it's also a cross-sale opportunity. So that was my first customer, and I sold my first home policy. And I was very excited. It was my first policy. And just after that, you just gain momentum because you feel that rush of like, oh my God, I can do it. I feel like I can do it. I believe in myself. I have that confidence. I can do this. And after that, I sold another policy that same day. So I had 2 policies on my first day of selling. By the end of that month, I had 10 policies under my belt. Okay? 10 policies. That was the month of February with 10 sales, 10 policies. I was very, very excited. I learned how to really use my personality, use my charm, use my empathy to do my job and be successful. Basically, and I'm coming from a marketing background. I have no experience really in sales and less telesales. So for me to have like a proof of concept and see that, my listening skills are working, I pay attention to my mentor, I pay attention to my coworkers, and I pay attention in training, and I just listen and adapt, listen and adapt. And I take constructive criticism, because you're going to get it. You're going to get a lot of criticism, and you need to stay focused on what your mentors are saying. If they give you constructive criticism, it's not about you, it's about your ability. So you need to adapt to what they're saying, because they are way more seasoned than you. They have way more years than you. You are just new. You are a guppy. So you will learn from them. So take everything that they say as gold, because I literally told my boss that. I was like, I listen to everything you say, everything. That's why I'm successful. That's why I got 10 policies in my first month of selling, and it wasn't even the whole month, because she didn't want me to do it yet. She thought, maybe it's too soon. And I was like, I want to do it. Let me do it. Please, come on, let me do it. And she was like, okay, let's start with a review. And that's how I started. And it was only 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. I think it was just 10 days and the last 10 days of the month. And I made 10 policies. I can't tell you it was 10 policies, like one policy a day, because some days it was like I got 2 policies one day, then I got 3 policies another day, and then in between I wouldn't get anything. So it wasn't really even like that. It was just like you'll get one customer that has 3 cars, that's 3 policies, or 3 items. And then you got another one that has 2 cars, that's 2 items, and like that, and it keeps accumulating. And I got the one home. Then I got the one car on the last day of the month. So, it just made everything just kept aligning. So then I ended up with 10 policies on my second month. So that's how that month ended. Mind you, I'm also doing customer service. So I'm learning also how to do policy changes, how to read the different policies, because some of them have different systems. If you want to change this customer to a new system, it doesn't make sense for them. What is that they need, or their home policy is gonna get canceled. You gotta move them to another policy, and all these fires that show up in the daily. And I was dealing with them and learning how to maneuver around everything and keeping the customer happy and making sure you're watching out for them. Not only focused on new business, but also focusing on retention. That's really good to have that kind of talent, because at the end of the day, if you want to become your own agency owner, you will need to learn these skills on customer retention, customer service, policy reviews, cross sales on the people you already have. It's very important to keep them. You want to retain them. So that's what I learned on month 2. Then March comes along and I'm starting at 0. Every month is a reset. So it's psychologically a way to also, you need to be mentally strong, because every month is it's a reset. So you are starting at 0 and you're like, okay, this is it. Last month was a really good month. Let's see if I can beat this one. Let me see if I can beat it. And every day I'm thinking, I want to beat February. I'm not even in competition with anybody else, because when you limit yourself to compete with other people, you're going to stay in the same level as they are, and you don't know what your own capacity is. So you want to be in competition with yourself. So last month I did 10. So this month I want to do more. I want to beat that 10. I just kept doing my thing, just relaxing. March was a very rocky one, because a lot of us were without sales for the good 2 weeks. And, my coworkers were like, oh man, what's going on? February was a good month. I don't know what's going on with this month. We're kind of doing a dry spell. And I just kept the faith and said, guys, it's okay. Everything will work out. We're going to meet our goals and we're going to beat them. We're going to go beyond the goals. We're going to beat them. So you got to keep that mindset, be positive, even though things may look dreary, or, they're not really panning out as you expect them to. That's okay. Everything will work out. we'll meet our goal, we'll beat our goal, and we'll do better. Because as an office, you have group goals as well as individual goals. My individual goal is always to beat myself from the past and be better. That is always going to be my goal. So I am very happy to report that I did that. I beat myself. I beat my record. I did 10 policies in February. 10 items in February. In March, I had 12. I closed with 12 on the last day of the month, okay? The last day I had those, I was at 10, and I'm like, I can't stay the same. No, I gotta beat myself. I gotta beat it. I gotta beat that 10. I gotta beat it. So my last day, this one lady, I was chasing her. And I was like, she had scheduled a date with me, but she didn't respond, and she would keep hanging up on me, but I just kept going. And that's another thing. People are very weird. They're very strange. Don't take anything personal, ever. I've had people hang up on me. I had people ghost me. I had people just not responsive. And at the end of the day, one day they woke up on the right side of the bed and they answered the phone. You know, they answer the phone and they're like, hey, how are you? How you been? Sorry, I haven't been picking up. And you're like, oh, I'm great. That's okay. No problem. That's why I tried you again. I figured you were busy. You know, you don't take it. You always assume that they were busy. Always assume that, life got in the way and they forgot about you. Always assume that. Never, ever take anything personal, okay? Because that's exactly what happened with my last sale. This customer of mine, she would not pick up. And when she did, she hung up on me. And what happened? On the last day of the month, 2 cars. Just keep the faith. Keep the faith and keep it going. And don't take anything personal. If anything you get out of this video is for me to tell you to keep the faith and not take anything personal. Now, month 3, we're currently on month 3. The month has a reset and we're at 0. And all I can say is to keep your motivation high. Why? Because you plan things and sometimes they don't pan out. Because I had a couple things scheduled for the beginning of the month and they didn't pan out. People were not picking up. People rescheduled. People said not now. People said next month. People are peopling, life be life. And you just got to keep the faith and hope that, not even hope. You assume. This is the power of manifestation. You don't hope. You assume everything is going to work out. And I assume and I know that everything will work out fine. And all the sales that I have aligned are going to work out fine for this month of April. And I'm going to beat my record from March and going to get higher sales. I'm going to get more items, beat my previous goal, be successful and kill it in sales, because that is my goal. And even through all this, I am still doing customer service. I am still doing the best that I can, giving the best of me. And in between everything, I also was moving. So, everything works out. Everything works out. Even though I was like having a crazy schedule and moving, I closed at the end of the month 12 policies. And that was me in the middle of moving. I was literally in between boxes and in between from the hotel and into this apartment and I was exhausted. And still I closed those 2 cars, because you got to keep that strong mindset. If anything you take from this episode is to keep having a positive and strong mindset. To be in sales, you have to be the most positive person in the room and just block out negativity and block out the Debbie Downers, block out the negative Nancys, And if someone else is, down in the dumps because, it affects everybody. If nobody's making any sales, it affects everybody. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure, but you have to maintain yourself, ground yourself, and stay strong, mentally strong. Okay? Well, that's all that I have for you guys today. If you liked this content, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share it to someone who needs to see this video, and comment below. Let me know where you are in your journey. What did you like about this video? And what do you want to hear from me next? Okay? I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.